So a few days ago, China did some military exercises. In China's own words, these military exercises were a severe punishment in response to the new President William Lai's inaugural speech. Now, these military exercises should come as a surprise to no one. I'm pretty sure that China would have conducted these military exercises no matter what William Lai had to say. I even made a video before the election happened saying that if the DPP was elected, this is what to expect. But what can we learn from these exercises? Well, the name that China gave them was Operation Joint Sword 2024A, which implies that we can expect more Operation Joint Sword exercises in 2024. So this is probably not going to be the only military exercise around Taiwan this year. But as far as military exercises go, it wasn't particularly impressive. After all, China used less than 3% of its total air power and less than 5% of its total sea power. And there were no rockets fired from the rocket force. In fact, there were no live fire exercises at all. So these military exercises didn't disrupt any sort of trade or flights or anything with Taiwan. The only reason that you could even notice that it happened was because they said it was happening on the news. So it didn't affect life in Taiwan in the slightest. So for a country that boasts such a large military and claims to have such impressive military presence and capabilities, why did they use so few of their assets in this severe punishment? Well, maybe the PLA, the Chinese military, and the CCP aren't really getting along. Maybe there's more conflict, internal conflict, than we realized. Maybe China just can't afford to have a big, extravagant military exercise. I mean, it's no secret that the Chinese economy is in big trouble right now. Maybe their military capabilities aren't what they say they are. Maybe there's some severe maintenance issues that they can't mobilize a big number of their fleet or their aircraft. Maybe it's a little bit of all of the above. I'm not sure. Now, of course, these military exercises have a counterpoint. They offer Taiwan an excellent opportunity to have their own military exercises, which is what happened. From what I can tell, Taiwan's military response was excellent. I also think that the new president, William Lai, that his speech, his response after these military exercises happened was a very cool-headed approach. Very measured response. There's a lot of things that happened that were not technically part of these military exercises, but we should mention. For example, the number of cyber attacks that Taiwan was experiencing during this time increased dramatically. It was around 5 million a day. Now, a lot of these attacks are called distributed denial of service attacks, DDoS. And these are when hackers basically flood a website, a network with a huge amount of internet traffic. This huge amount of traffic can cause websites and networks to break down and experience vulnerabilities for hackers to gain access. So that is why we see the number of attacks is so high, that it's in the millions. There was also an increased number of military exercises around the islands that are very close to mainland China that the Republic of China controls, like Jimin and Matsu Islands. I find this very concerning because if China does take military action against Taiwan, I think the islands very close to mainland China, Jimin and the Matsu Islands, that these are the most likely targets. Now, in my opinion, the most serious threat from China is not necessarily the military threat, it's more the gray zone tactics. These gray zone tactics are more unconventional tactics. Things that aren't cool, but they're definitely not to the point where it's a direct act of war, at least not yet. These are things like cyber attacks and propaganda and how they use civilian fishing vessels to harass like ships in the Philippines, how the Chinese will use civilian ships to drag their anchors to damage other countries' undersea internet cables, as well as tactics such as sending tourists and expats into other countries, but really they're police and they set up secret police stations in other countries all over the world. These are the type of things that I'm talking about, these gray zone tactics. And of course, spending a lot of money to basically corrupt other countries' officials and politicians to, collude with China. We've seen this happen all over the world, and in my opinion, this is the most serious threat that Taiwan faces, especially the relentless propaganda using all these platforms that are actually banned in China, such as Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and even TikTok. The TikTok that we can get outside of China is not the same TikTok that's in China. Basically using the tools of democracy, it's free speech, against the democracy. This is a serious threat. Of course, Taiwan needs to maintain its military vigilance and its military strength, 100%, but it's these gray zone tactics that I think people need to be more aware of, because it's these gray zone tactics that are targeting ordinary citizens. And these are the things that, if you're aware of them, you can take action against them. As long as Taiwan's vigilant and the Taiwanese people are vigilant, especially against these gray zone tactics like propaganda and corruption, then I think Taiwan will continue to be a safe beacon of democracy. So, in summary, Chinese Operation Joint Sword 2024A, not all that impressive really, but it's probably not going to be the only military exercise that China conducts around Taiwan this year. Thanks a lot for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, all that. A big thank you to all of my channel members and my Patreon members. It's you guys who keep this channel going. You have changed my life for the better. Thank you so much. Let's hope that we can live in a more peaceful world. We all want peace. All right, peace, love. Hey, I'll see you. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye.